while, even though the game came out in 2015. I now officially have played it. So I heard about this game, back when it came out. And I was very intrigued with it because I was liking what I was seeing, and the especially the art styles that they use, and especially like the story that was presented in brief detail. I was liking that. And then I found out that it was PC only, and I don't play PC games. And then not too long ago, they then put it out on consoles, and then I then went and bought it, and I played it. And here we go. I enjoyed the game. I will say, I'll get the positive out of the way first. The story was very engaging and very strange and weird and odd, and also very grotesque. And also a bit like what is going on, like WTF. The art styles, I like how it changes. It changes somewhat, depending on like the part you're looking at. Whether it be the cutscenes or the gameplay, or like sometimes when you do something, then a little like art drawing then pops up, and that's a different art style. So it changes. I like how they used multiple art styles. And the I would say the world building was definitely very, very cool. And again, it brings back to like it was like very weird and very like interesting, and then kind of at parts where I'm going, what is happening? I'm like, did you guys accidentally take drugs while you were making this game? Because that's what it kind of feels like right now. Now the things that I didn't hate, but I was a bit picky about. I'm not much of a puzzle gamer. So when it comes to games that are solely focused on solving puzzles, yeah, that's most of the time I figure it myself out. But in this case, this game was you have to be very, very, very precise and specific on the way you do things. Like, there were times when I solved a puzzle correctly, and the game was like, oh, no, you didn't solve it. Like, okay, what do I need to do? Oh, we're not going to tell you. So you have to, like, try to click on everything you can click on to then figure it out. And then eventually, after 30 minutes of backtracking, I then figured out what I had to do, and it was something so small that I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I had to do that? Like, really? You couldn't have done that for me? And it could have saved me 30 minutes of backtracking. Really? You're that specific. You're gonna be that on point. It's one of those games where it's like, oh, you can't access the door without pressing the open button. It's like, oh my God, really? I mean, it may not seem like it's a big deal, but while you're playing the game, you're just like, oh my God, really? Like, really? You have to be that accurate and like that precise. Now, I do applaud them for going the extra mile to make it more accurate, but at times it was just like, I was kind of like going, I don't have time for this. And the puzzles as well. While finishing them was like, whew, oh my God, like that took forever. And that's the problem, and that's the main problem I had, is that solving the puzzles was a nightmare. Like I said about the backtracking, there were so many parts where I had to backtrack. And this is actually a short game. This is about, I would say, if you already knew how to solve all the puzzles, I would say maybe this is like a 2.5 hour game. But because of that, it took like double. So, what I did was, after like a while of backtracking and couldn't figure out what to do, and I had to then go on YouTube and watch someone play it. And as they're playing it, they were looking at a wiki. And I'm like, the fact that a Let's Player has to look at a wiki while they're playing the game is just like, really? It's like, that's how hard your game is. And again, I'm not faulting for that. I mean, I'm not a puzzle gamer. Like, when it comes to those puzzle type games, I'm just going to get frustrated about 10 minutes in, and then I'm going to quit. But what kept pulling me back into this game was the world building, was the story, was just how incredibly like messed up and like interesting it was. So, yeah, to quickly wrap the story around, it centers on a 10-year-old girl named Fran Bow who, lives with her parents. Liz sees her aunt, gets a black cat named Mr. Midnight, and then one night a devil horned creature appears, and then she goes and finds that her parents were brutally murdered. It'll like take Dr. Frankenstein to bring them back. Like, it was that bad. She then finds herself in a mental hospital for children, and then slowly through the course of the game tries to get back home, and she runs into a whole bunch of like crazy, demonic, weird, and fairy tale like stuff along the way. And that's pretty much all I'll say, except there's parts in the game where all that stuff happens and I'm going, what the is, I was like going, what is happening? Like, what is that? And there are parts of the game that are legitimately creepy. Like, she gets prescribed pills that help her to solve puzzles. And you learn a little bit about the pills and what they actually mean later on. But every time she takes it, the world around her it's the same. It's pretty much the same place. But if there's people in there, they're all looking like messed up. They all look like they're possibly dead, or there's like shadow creatures everywhere. There's like blood and like gore all over the place. And it's just like, oh, well, this looks cheery. So, yeah, it's... And there's even a disclaimer at the very beginning of the game where you load it up that says, like, yeah, this game has a ton of stuff that if you don't like seeing this stuff, yeah, close this game. Like, do not play this game. And yeah, there's a lot of gore, drug use because of the pills, but also like there's some like things you find where it's just like, oh, that's just messed up. Like, there's like sexual stuff, or like just a whole bunch of just like messed up and like, wow, that's just wrong stuff. So like I said, the positives, I really like the story. I really liked the art styles. I really liked how engaging the story was. Like, I couldn't wait to get past the puzzle because I literally had to watch someone play it while they're looking at a wiki to get past it because it was so complex. And I'm like, I can't figure out what to do. And sometimes it's the most little of things where you're just like, really? I had to do that? Like, really? I'm like, great. So I did like this game. It's just, I wish that it wasn't that like precise. and that specific. And it just, that kind of stuff kind of irritates me a little bit, because it's just like, all right, you solved everything. Now go through the door. All right, I'm trying to go through the door. Why can't I? Oh, you have to find the button to open the door. It's like, really? Really? I have to open a button that then opens the door. Why couldn't I just open the door? So, like I said, it may be, I may be like nitpicking too much, but at a certain point, it's kind of like, really, can I just get past that, please? So, and then again, I'm not a puzzle gamer. So, but overall, I would still give this thing a grade, because it feels like if Alice in Wonderland and the Neverending Story had a very like demonic like stuff going on with it, and you would kind of have this, and then throughout the game you're finding more about the story. It's like, okay, so this is why this is happening, that's why this is happening. So I did like that, so it gets a great. I don't think they're doing another one, but then again, this game did like begin and end very, very nicely. So I think it's a cool game. If you're not very patient enough with puzzle games, you might not like it, but the story is very, very cool.